Imagine a world cloaked in darkness. The year is 1200. The only light flickers from a fireplace in a grand castle. Inside, a king feasts. Outside, his people toil the land. This was life under feudalism. It was a time of lords and serfs, castles and cathedrals. Life was harsh, and change came slowly, like the creeping dawn. The world was smaller then. People rarely ventured beyond their villages. Their lives revolved around the seasons and the dictates of their lord. It was a world of limited opportunity, where your birth determined your destiny. But even in this seemingly static world, the seeds of change were being sown. The vast oceans, once considered barriers, were about to become bridges. The whisper of distant lands, rich with spices and silks, reached the ears of European merchants. This marked the beginning of a profound shift. It was a shift that would awaken Europe from its slumber and set it on a path toward a new era. Feudalism was like a grand tapestry, woven with threads of obligation and loyalty. At the top sat the king, the ultimate owner of all land. He granted parcels of this land, called fiefs, to his most trusted nobles, the lords. In return for this land, the lords pledged their allegiance to the king, promising to provide him with knights in times of war. Beneath the lords were the vassals, lesser nobles who swore fealty to their lords. They too received land and in turn provided military service. At the bottom of this social pyramid were the serfs, the vast majority of the population. They were bound to the land, working the fields and paying taxes to their lords. This system, though seemingly rigid, was the glue that held medieval society together. It provided a framework for governance, justice, and defense in a time when central authority was weak. However, it also stifled social mobility and innovation. The serfs, bound to the land, had little incentive to improve their lot. The lords, secure in their inherited power, saw little need for change. But the winds of change, once just a whisper, were about to become a gale. The 14th century brought with it a spirit of exploration. Intrepid explorers, driven by curiosity and the lure of riches, set sail into the unknown. They returned with tales of distant lands, exotic spices, and luxurious silks. These tales ignited the imagination of Europe and opened up new trade routes to the east. The rise of trade had a profound impact on feudal society. It led to the growth of towns and cities as merchants established trading posts and guilds to protect their interests. This new merchant class, with its wealth and influence, challenged the dominance of the traditional landowning nobility. The flow of goods from the east also brought with it new ideas and technologies. The compass, gunpowder, and printing press, all originating in the east, found their way to Europe, further fueling the fires of change. The world was shrinking, and with it, the old feudal order began to crumble. As trade flourished, so too did the demand for goods. This led to the rise of workshops and manufactories, where skilled artisans produced goods on a larger scale than ever before. The division of labor, a key innovation, emerged as a way to increase efficiency. Instead of one craftsman producing an entire item, tasks were divided into specialized steps, with each worker focusing on a single aspect of production. This system, though seemingly simple, had a profound impact. It increased productivity, lowered costs, and paved the way for mass production. Guilds, once powerful organizations that controlled the production and sale of goods, found their influence waning. The rise of manufactories, with their large-scale production and reliance on wage labor, challenged the guild system, further eroding the foundations of the old order. The world was changing, and the pace of change was accelerating. Section 5. Machines roar, empires tremble, dawn of the Industrial Age. The 18th century witnessed the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, a period of unprecedented technological advancement that would forever alter the course of human history. It began in Britain with the invention of machines like the spinning jenny and the steam engine. These machines, powered by coal and steam, replaced human and animal labor, leading to a dramatic increase in productivity. Factories sprang up across the landscape, their chimneys spewing smoke and their machines humming with a new kind of energy. The Industrial Revolution was not merely a technological revolution, it was a social and economic one as well. It led to the growth of cities, the rise of a new working class, and the expansion of global trade on an unprecedented scale. The world was becoming interconnected, and the balance of power was shifting once more. Section 6. The crumbling of castles. Feudalism fades away. The rise of industrial capitalism dealt a fatal blow to the feudal system. The demand for factory workers lured people away from the countryside and into the burgeoning cities. The old ties of obligation and loyalty that had bound serfs to their lords began to dissolve. The new industrialists, with their wealth generated not from land but from factories and trade, challenged the political dominance of the old landowning aristocracy. The French Revolution of 1789, with its cry of liberté, égalité, fraternité, was a dramatic manifestation of this power shift. The ideals of the Enlightenment, with its emphasis on individual liberty, reason, and progress, further undermined the hierarchical structure of feudal society. The world was embracing new ideas, new systems of government, and new ways of life. The old order was crumbling, making way for the modern world. Section 7. Ripples across the globe, India's story. The transformation of Europe had profound consequences for the rest of the world. The rise of European powers, fueled by industrial might and driven by a thirst for raw materials and new markets, led to the era of colonialism. India, with its vast resources and ancient civilizations, became a prime target. The British East India Company, once a humble trading company, gradually expanded its influence, eventually establishing control over much of the Indian subcontinent. The impact of British rule on India was complex and multifaceted. It led to the destruction of traditional industries, the exploitation of resources, and the imposition of foreign rule. However, it also brought with it new technologies, new systems of administration, and new ideas that would eventually contribute to India's own path to modernity. Section 8. A world transformed from fields to factories. The journey from feudalism to industrialization was a long and tumultuous one, marked by both progress and upheaval. It transformed Europe from a continent of castles and cathedrals into a powerhouse of industry and innovation. This transformation was not without its costs. The Industrial Revolution brought with it pollution, poverty, and social unrest. Yet it also unleashed a wave of creativity and ingenuity that continues to shape our world today. The world we live in today, with its globalized economy, interconnected societies, and rapid technological advancements, is a direct product of this historical transformation. Understanding this journey is crucial for comprehending the challenges and opportunities that face us in the 21st century. Section 9. The unfolding future. Our turn to shape tomorrow. Just as the people of Europe faced a world in transition, so too do we. We live in an era of unprecedented change, driven by globalization, technological advancements, and climate change. The lessons of the past can serve as a guide as we navigate this uncharted territory. The transition from feudalism to industrialization teaches us that change is inevitable, and that embracing new ideas and adapting to new circumstances is crucial for progress. It also reminds us that progress is not without its costs, and that we must strive to create a more just and equitable world for all. As students, you are the inheritors of this legacy of change. You have the power to shape the future, to build upon the achievements of the past while addressing the challenges of the present. Embrace this responsibility with courage, curiosity, and a commitment to creating a better world for generations to come. The future is yours to write.